Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Season 8 of Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Man, the year 2020. Can't believe we've entered a new decade. And I have to admit, the year 2019 was really insane. And I mean that in a good way. I mean, aside from reaching about 400 blogs, I got to go to Europe with my parents, attend a pink carpet event with my sister. However, the only downsides about it was losing one of my closest neighbors and missing out on what was supposed to be my first high school reunion due to it being canceled. I really don't want to wait another 10 years for another reunion. Anyway, I don't know if you viewers have noticed, but several of my past blogs from last year were Pokemon related. And speaking of which, I've decided to start off Season 8 with a Pokemon movie from the Hoenn season. You know, the last time I talked about a movie from that season was Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, and that was way back in 2017. And to this very day, I still consider it my second favorite Pokemon movie. However, today, we're going to look at the very first Pokemon movie from the Hoenn season, which stars a very special Pokemon with the power to grant wishes. Released in Japan on July 19, 2003, and to DVD in America on June 1, 2004, the movie is Pokemon Jirachi Wishmaker. So, let's get started. Only once every 1,000 years, when the Millennium Comet is visible in the night sky, does Jirachi awaken from its slumber. And during this movie, when he awakens at a traveling circus, he got a whole new set of friends by his side. Ash, Pikachu, Max, and the whole gang. But soon, they must rescue Jirachi from the clutches of an evil magician and former Team Magma scientist named Butler, who wants to harness Jirachi's incredible energy to bring to life one of the most legendary and powerful Pokemon of all. So, what do I personally think of this movie? Well, in my opinion, this is another Pokemon movie that I enjoy, and I think it does a very emotional story involving friendship. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's move on to Mustang notes. Now, this movie is not only the very first Pokemon movie in the Hoenn season, but it's also the first Pokemon movie to go straight to DVD in America. So, yeah, it never got aired on television, unfortunately. The movie's main location, Farina, is based on Millennium, located in the Hoenn province of China. Now that's pretty impressive, by the way. Also, in my opinion, the Japanese animation is very well done in this, and I'm not sure if I'm right, but I don't think there's any use of CGI in this. I'm just not really sure. I mean, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, I really like the look of the Millennium Festival. This whole carnival has a roller coaster, bumper cars, a Ferris wheel, a spinning ride, and a magic show hosted by the great Butler. Also, I think the scenery in Farina is very beautiful, and I like the many different Pokemon featured, like Nuzleaf, Vibrava, Tropius, Linoone, Breloom, Swablu, Altaria, and one of my favorites, Flygon. Also, in my opinion, the most memorable scenes in this movie are Butler's magic show, his backstory where he got kicked out of Team Magma, and I thought the final climax where Ash, Max, and Jirachi helped Butler stop the fake Groudon was very suspenseful. Plus, the road trip to Farina is very breathtaking. As for the story, well, in my eyes, the story does warm my heart due to it focusing on the relationship between friends. Plus, to me, the part where the gang watched the Millennium Comet in the night sky makes me think back to the time when the year 2000 happened. I mean, when I experienced that year, it was very futuristic and epic. And I really am eagerly hoping for some epic surprises during the 2020s. Also, during the end credits, we get to hear a beautiful song called Make a Wish, sung by Cindy Mizelle. In my eyes, this is a really touching song, and it makes a nice lullaby, kind of like the song that May hums throughout the movie. However, to me, the Japanese version, even if I don't understand the language, is the best part about the song. And now let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. Ash Ketchum is once again voiced by Veronica Taylor, who got to be in Nana's 7 of 7. Now, we all know that Ash's goal is to be the world's greatest Pokemon master, and I think he and his Pikachu, vocalized by Iku Otani, make a great team together. Plus, I like the part where Ash and Max unintentionally become volunteers during one of Butler's acts, and I like the scene where Ash tries to cheer Max up by telling him that Jirachi will always be with him in his heart. Also, I do like that part where Ash mentions that a good friend left him a while back, which I think could be either Misty or Serena. I'm not really sure, though. Our main character, Max, is voiced by Amy Birnbaum, best known as Taya Gardner from Yu-Gi-Oh!, Melody from Pokemon the Movie 2000, and Molly Hale from Pokemon 3. While Max is a Pokemon know-it-all, I think he has a very special role in this movie. Plus, I really like his friendship chemistry with Jirachi. And I like the part where they go on several rides and play at the Millennium Festival. Next we come to Max's big sister, May, also voiced by Veronica Taylor. As I said about 2 years ago, May's goal is to become a Pokemon coordinator. In my opinion, during this movie, May has some good character development too. Plus, she kind of acts like a second mother to Max. Plus, the song that May hums throughout this movie is a lullaby that her mother used to sing to her when she was very young. Also, after May buys a wishing star from a bogey, each night she makes a wish on the Millennium Comet and folds down each section. Unfortunately, her wish does not get granted due to her forgetting to wish on the final night. Next we have Brock, once again voiced by Eric Stewart. To me, Brock is still a good friend, a great Pokemon breeder, and a great cook, but he still gets on my nerves when he goes girl crazy. Also, while no one does pull on his ear throughout this movie, at least he does get bumped by a girl on the bumper cars. Next we have Team Rocket's Jesse, James, and Meowth, voiced by Rachel Lillis, Eric Stewart, and the late Maddie Blaustein. In the beginning of the movie, they're seen working as festival clowns, throwing around paper, advertising Butler's magic show, cleaning manure, and assisting Butler during his show. But after one of the acts involving Max and Ash, they try to capture Pikachu in a zap trap and Butler's Mightyena and Kirlia in a net. But after getting blasted off, they're usually seen spying on Max, Jirachi, and the rest of the gang as they have fun at the festival and as they travel to Farina. Next we come to our title Pokemon, Jirachi, voiced by Carrie Williams, who voiced Domino in Mewtwo Returns and a young Toa in Pokemon Forever. Anyway, as I said earlier, Jirachi is a Pokemon that awakens once every 1,000 years. However, in order for Jirachi to awaken from its slumber, the Millennium Comet must be visible in the night sky, and Jirachi must find itself a friend. Also, not only can Jirachi grant wishes, but it can also teleport things. And also, during its hibernation, all the energy it absorbs from the comet is released into the earth, which makes all the nature in Farina grow. In my opinion, while Jirachi is adorable, it is somewhat childlike, and its personality and maturity development is, well, extremely limited. It can also be very bossy if no one wants to play with it. Plus, I like that Jirachi gets along very well with Max. Also, I like the parts where Jirachi uses its teleport attack to save Pikachu and May's Torchic from Absol, as well as saving Max and Ash from the fake Groudon's tentacles. Our villain for the movie, the Great Butler, is voiced by Wayne Grayson, who voiced Kevin in Arceus and the Jewel of Life, and Carl in Zoroark, Master of Illusions. Butler is shown to be both a talented magician and a brilliant scientist. His Pokemon consist of Kirlia, Mightyena, Dusclops, and Salamence. Despite being part of Team Magma, he is never clearly associated with their larger agenda of expanding the world's landmass. Instead, he is driven to recreate Groudon, seemingly to simply prove that his invention can do so. In my eyes, Butler is both flashy and emotional, reveling in the, well, or I should say, reveling in the adoration of the crowds at his magic show. But deep down, he is truly being motivated by his wish to simply do something he has always enjoyed alongside Diane, whom he deeply loves. All these traits, however, were warped by his anger at Team Magma rejecting him, turning him into a dark-driven man, obsessed with proving the villainous team wrong about him. Even though he did lose sight of himself, he ultimately returned to his senses and worked frantically to undo the catastrophe that he unleashed. desperately trying to save Diane and stop the fake Groudon. Once the disaster has stopped, Butler finally realizes what was truly important to him, and he decides to retire from performing in order to live with Diane. Next we come to Butler's beautiful assistant and girlfriend, Diane, voiced by Megan Hollingshead, who previously voiced Annie in Pokemon Heroes. Diane has a long history and a deep personal connection with Butler. She was committed to ensuring Butler's success, as well as joining him as his assistant and helping him locate Jirachi. In spite of Butler's evil and ambitious behavior, Diane saw through that exterior and believed there was still good in him, even after the fake Groudon was created. She simply wanted to settle down with Butler, which she eventually achieved. In my opinion, I think Diane is a nice supporting character, and I like that she lets Ash and the gang camp out in Butler's bus. Plus, I think Diane and May have a nice friendship chemistry. Another Pokemon to talk about is Absol, whose vocals are provided by Eric Stewart? Really? Anyway, it is said that this Pokemon appears before a great tragedy happens. In the movie, Absol appears as a minor antagonist, attacking Max and his friends in order to take Jirachi back to Farina, until Butler manages to lure Absol into a trap using a trap door and a cage. Thankfully, Absol is not evil, but later on, Absol appears as a guide to lead the gang to Jirachi's home in Farina. Finally, we come to Groudon. Now, we all know this Pokemon as the mascot of the Ruby version games. Plus, it has the ability to expand continents, and it is the actual heaviest being out of all known Pokemon. Yes, even heavier than Snorlax. In the anime, like in the game, Groudon is being targeted by the evil Team Magma as a major part of their evil plan to create more habitats for land Pokemon by lowering the sea level. In the movie, Butler plans to use Jirachi to bring forth a Groudon using the energy of the Millennium Comet. However, what was made instead was not a Groudon, but a manifestation of pure evil that has Groudon's appearance. Not only does this monster lack a personality, but it also consumes people and Pokemon with weird tentacles that come from its claws and its spikes, while sucking up energy from the earth. As such, it was deemed to be an abomination. In the end, Jirachi manages to stop this creature by using its Doom Desire attack. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, Pokemon Jirachi Wishmaker is another enjoyable Pokemon movie in my opinion. It has good animation, and I like the many different Pokemon featured in Farina, and the Millennium Festival looks like fun. Plus, the story does do a nice job with the concept of friendship. It also brings back warm memories from the Hoenn games, and I think both May and Max get a lot of character development, along with Butler, Diane, even Jirachi itself. Plus, I think you viewers might enjoy this movie if you're still a Pokemon fan like I am. As for my rating, I'll give it a 91% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in for my next blog, where we go over to Blue Sky Studios to look at the last animated movie of 2019, Mustang Power.